Hello everyone, my name is Robin, and this is my reaction to the RWBY Volume 9 official soundtrack. I'm recording this on Sunday, July 30th, so the soundtrack has been out for a couple days. I've managed to avoid pretty much any and all spoilers, a couple of lyrics here and there, but nothing that amounts to anything too big. This video will not contain Inside the Opening or The Edge, which is the end credits song. Obviously, I've already released dedicated videos for both of those two songs, and you can find those on my channel. I'll link them in the description and whatnot. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I am very much looking forward to this soundtrack. I've, just hearing the snippets of the songs that we've heard in Volume 9 itself from Casey Williams and Martin Gonzalez, they've done an incredible job revamping, if that's the right word, or just putting their own spin on what RWBY music is. It sounds completely different from when Jeff Williams was spearheading things, and I wish him all the best in his retirement from RWBY and music in general. He's not making music at all anymore. He's pursuing other avenues and other careers in life, so to speak. He might still be in the music industry for all I know, but just not, physically himself creating music. I'm not sure exactly what he does. I know he teaches music as well, so maybe he's still doing that. Either way, all the best to him. RWBY's music is in incredible hands with Casey Williams, Martin Gonzalez. I have listened to the score, and that is something as well that Alex Abraham no longer does. That just as Jeff Williams retired from making the vocal songs, Alex Abraham has sort of retired or taken at least a very big step back from making the score, and that is Martin Gonzalez, Martin DeLima. Casey Williams has helped a little bit with the score as well. She's had some vocal flourishes in some of the tracks, like in Chapter 8 especially, I think Chapter 9 as well. Peter Jones and Matthew Wong as well. So those 5 people contributing to the score that I've already had the chance to listen to as well. Volume 9, Checkmate. So we'll start that up in 3, 2, 1, now. And I've got Casey lyrics as well. Okay, yeah, this is the electro synth punk sort of thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like it starts off with what was in the episode. There you go. Yeah, I can picture the fight in the background. I can picture the chessboard fight. It's so good. I mean, it's just... Oh god, this... I can already... This is the nice, low before the high energy moment. Good chance. Gotta do his dance. Damn! Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. I think Casey's voice could have been raised a little bit there. It was kind of unclear, but this is just so fun. This is fun. Oh, this is just plain for the fun of it. This isn't that serious. It's this reminds me of the food fight in Volume 2. Taking something so seriously that is so unserious, right? So this kind of fits that same vibe, something that would have played over the food fight in Volume 2. Alright, I'm digging this. Okay, so it's repeating for a 3rd time. This is such a bop, and it... God. I feel like the soundtrack's only gonna get better from here. I love that cue right here. I love this. It kind of reminds me of, Beyond Selves, or there was a beat in Ice Queendom, like one of the songs in Ice Queendom that was like, Okay, and this is an outro now. Got it. Yeah, so it's just carrying out from here. Okay. That's fun. That's a really fun song. Alright. Alright, yeah, kind of as I was saying, that reminds me a lot of, like, the food fight in Volume 2's premiere, Volume 2, Chapter 1. It's taking something so unserious, so silly as a food fight, but then treating it as, like, a fight to the death, ultra serious, like, battle choreography-wise as well, and just owning it, right? And I feel like that's kind of the same thing, like, because ultimately, instead of like a food fight, this is a chess game sort of type deal. So it's just taking something that is not serious, not a fight to the death at all, but just treating it like that, I feel like is very much in the spirit of RWBY, so that definitely makes me appreciate Chapter 3 of Volume 9 more too, because like, that was a sort of way to have a fight that isn't really high stakes, because I don't think anybody on Team RWBY was... I think Blake got tossed around, but ultimately that fight was going to be won no matter what. Like, they weren't in any serious danger in that fight. I think that mostly encapsulates my thoughts for Checkmate as far as that goes. I'll switch over to Chatterbox now. Let's talk about Chatterbox for a second. So this song plays in Volume 9, Chapter 5, over the fight where the singular Jabberwocker invades the Garden's Acre night market thing. That's one of my favorite sets in Volume 9, is that marketplace. I really did like that whole, like, lily pad lotus flower bathed in pink light over a pond vibe. And this song plays there. I don't know what this song is about yet. I've heard that John has a song on this soundtrack. I'm pretty sure it's Quiet, because that one plays over Chapter 9 when they're visiting the Paper Pleasers Genial Gems in the Origami Acre. So I'm not sure what Chatterbox is about. I think it's about the cat though, because the cat was being quite the chatterbox in Chapter 4. Boring the hell out of Team RWBY. So I feel like that's what I'm in for here. Now let's get into Chatterbox. In 3, 2, 1. Alright. Yep. Sounds about right. I vaguely remember this. The one thing you need. Okay. Alright. The smoke of the leaves, yeah. I think... Yeah, so this was in the episode. Say something, Ring. Only speak. Waiting for your ugly mouth to just spit it out. And this when I think Yang punches the Jabberwocker and this music cuts out of Chapter 5. So I think it could either be the cat or the Jabberwocker. I'm not entirely sure. Or it could just kind of be applied metaphorically to like all of the Ever After, too. Like trying to find the right path or the way through the Ever After, not being able to take the right cues from anything. For a fool. Know this all too well. Leave your tears to someone else. It's not you lost it all. Yeah. Only speak in riddles. Yeah, so that gives another angle to it too. I'll talk about that in a second. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think... Okay. That's a different kind of take for sure. That... God, don't let this be like Sacrifice in Volume 2, where nobody can agree on what that song is about to this day. Because it kind of almost feels like that. So let's go back to this. So there are different elements to this song that I can kind of see as being about the Jabberwocker versus the cat, or versus Team RWBY talking to the cat, or the cat talking to Team RWBY as well. Because there is a line in here, give me anything but this symphony of technicolor rage, you call it righteous, meaningful, it's anything but love, don't take me for a fool, I know this all too well, so leave your tears to someone else, because it's not just you who lost it all. I feel like that could almost be applied to the cat talking to Team RWBY, in a sense. This was a part of Volume 9 that I didn't quite vibe with the most, or I feel like I wasn't interpreting it at the time the way that I feel like it was meant to be interpreted almost. But, so the cat, after having been betrayed by Alex, sort of lives in that spite, maybe? Or has a sort of, what the blacksmith calls a broken heart, you know, is inherently mistrustful of humans after that. So I kind of feel like that sort of, don't tell me what you're really about, don't think that I'm like this, could almost be like applied to the cat talking to Team RWBY in Chapter 4. Team RWBY in Chapter 4 is kind of being a chatterbox as well, almost. That chapter starts out with, I think, the cat, you know, asking all these questions, chattering away, giving his takes on, oh, so the old man and a boy share a body, right? That's got some uncomfortable complications. Who thought that was a convenient way to reincarnate? The same people who put a city in the sky. Speaking of which, did that CL girl from the Vital Festival tournament ever come back in a meaningful way? You know, like, just completely chattering away. The cat starts the episode off doing that, but Team RWBY also is constantly, in theory, talking to this cat. Most of it is off screen, but catching the cat up to everything that's happened in Remnant with the Brother Gods, all the way up to the fall of Atlas. So, you know, literally all of Remnant's history, basically. So I feel like this could almost be applied to them, like the cat talking to Team RWBY. In general, this song also kind of points out or features this sort of mistrust or sort of keeping at arm's length of the Ever After versus Remnant, where I'm just trying to, you know, Team RWBY just wants to get back home. That's all they want to do. They'll know as much as they need to know about the Ever After, insofar as it is information that can help them get back to Remnant. That's all they really care about. So I feel like it could go for that too. Other than that, overall, I think mostly because this song is on the ambiguous side, it's not something I'm really as much able to get into. So far for me, Checkmate's at the top, at least as far as the tracks that I've listened to today, then Chatterbox, and we'll get into the next one. Worthy. So this one I'm pulling up a video from Sirs and Madams Entertainment. So this is Casey Williams with Ariel. So this is indeed two perspectives, Yang and Blake. There wouldn't be a guest vocalist if that weren't the case. After this, mostly because I haven't made a Volume 9 review, and likely never will, as far as I know, after Worthy, after I'm done listening to this song, I do kind of want to talk about touch on Bumbleby, Blake, and Yang sort of critiques or how I feel about how it's been handled. I'm not gonna start spewing hatred or anything, but with anything, critique is meant to, like, theoretically elevate the work that you're critiquing, so, like, here's how you could do it better, maybe. So this is Worthy / Bumbleby Part 2 featuring Ariel. Let's get into it. As far as Casey said, two sapphic women talking about two sapphic characters. Two sapphic women singing about two sapphic characters, which I think is pretty awesome. Why did I come here? Was I always meant to take this shape?
Was I always meant to take this shape? Never was given a love that
Is this gonna be entirely a cappella? I wonder.
parachute falling with no fear of hitting the ground.
Just completely falling. Yeah.
Hitting the ground.
And then just hitting it. And just falling. And that sort of impact of you're there. Right. Okay, so it's no longer a cappella.
And suddenly I did too.
So I wonder,
Was dying. Didn't know how to know
I wonder whose perspective this is. Like, who is the you here? Who is the I here?
hands down, heart wide.
So this is Ariel now, right?
I've only ever known the fight, but I'll catch you this time. I'll never let you out of my sight. Unguarded, I surrender to a softer side. I left you, I love you till the end of time. Kiss me, hold tight. I'll never let you out of my sight.
I like her voice. Alright, so this is from the episode now. Me, yeah. Okay. The harmonizing, let's go. I like that. Compositionally, this is fantastic. That's the promise. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just checking, how long? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. There we go. That is Worthy, which I'll pull up the lyrics for now on this end. So it does kind of still have the two perspectives vibe to it with having Ariel there as well. I'm not familiar with her work. I don't know if I've ever heard, because she hasn't been involved with RWBY before this. If anything, I would have almost assumed like Adrienne would be involved from Nevermore, from Volume 6. New voice, always good to hear. Nothing against her at all. If anything, I really do like her tone, so it's good to hear her. And other than that, I don't have too much to say about the song. It's not entirely my jam, but that's mostly because I'm not a shipper. I don't really care too much about Blake and Yang. I love their scene in Volume 9, Chapter 6. It's a phenomenal scene, but it's just not something that, like, I'm not too interested in their romantic subplot, I should say, is probably the best way of putting it. You know, I love Blake. I'll take off the screen capture here for a second so that you can see how much I like Blake. I have the Ice Queendom Blake figure, I just haven't taken it out and putting it up with the rest yet. But like, you know, I like Blake, but I don't like Blake as far as her romantic subplot with Yang. Not that I have anything against it, it's just not really my jam. You know, when I think about my affection or affinity for Blake, it mostly comes from who she is at the start of the show and kind of how she opens up and grows from that point, where she starts off closed off, jaded, the real world isn't the same as a fairy tale, as she tells Ruby in Volume 1, Chapter 3, and it goes from that to closed off from her friends, closed off from her team, gets into unhealthy headspaces while she's at Beacon, especially in Volume 2 at the start of that, and kind of opens up to her team from there, where she's in a good place in Volume 3, and then suddenly everything gets ripped away from her. Now she starts running again in Volume 4, and, you know, with the help of Sun and Ilya as well in Volume 5, you know, unlearns that negative behavior as well, to where now she is ready to, you know, come back into the fold with Team RWBY, and now she is ready to make that promise that she is staying. You know, I really like that character growth over the course of the show, and that's kind of where my affinity for Blake's character comes from the most. And as far as while we're here, while we're discussing a song that is very much about Blake and Yang, I should at least talk about, because I'm not making a review for Volume 9, how I think their romantic subplot has gone over the course of the show. I don't really have too many critiques for it. I know a lot of people do, and it's had a lot of discourse, especially the moment that it was confirmed as well. You get all these people talking about, like, throwing Monty's name around and all that stuff, and it's just like, man, if only you were here from day one, if only you had my knowledge about the show and what Monty actually meant for these characters, because, like, the more you look at it, the more it just points to Blake and Yang being together, and that's just it. RWBY has this unique writing formula where it is both simultaneously very much planned and also very not planned. There's these two extremes that are constantly being written between, where there are things that are very set in stone, that are, this is what we're going to do in this volume once we get to that plot beat, but then once they actually do start writing Volume X and they're looking at their plans for the volume, they don't write everything as they had planned years ago. They write that plot beat, but the way that they get to that plot beat, they make when they're writing that season. So when we look at Bumbleby and Blake and Yang and their experience over time, it's not so carefully placed where every volume is putting things in stone for that next volume to pick up. It's kind of written as it goes, and they didn't plan 10 years ago for Blake and Yang to kiss in a thunderstorm in the ever after. That's just not how it went, because as they'd said, this was in one of those production round tables that they put on YouTube and Twitter. The idea for the Ever After sort of came about between volumes 1 and 2. So they have ideas, and they're constantly inserting new ideas to give more context to those ideas, so that they're kind of writing the show over time as they go, and not just they have the show written in some show bible somewhere and they're just getting through it years later. That's not how it works. So with Blake and Yang and their romantic subplot, I don't really have too much to say about, like, volumes 1 to even 6. And that's not because, like, I think they're perfect. It's just I don't really have anything to say. I don't have any thoughts or critiques necessarily that I would give. Mostly what I would change for Blake and Yang's subplot is just kind of like volumes 7 and 8. Generally, I wouldn't change anything about volume 9 for Blake or Yang and the subplot, but I do kind of wish that volume 7 and 8 gave them more of a framework for how their subplot went. Because, like, there's tons of moments where it's very clear that Blake and Yang are kind of into each other. Like, that's not a secret. You can look at volume 7 and there's plenty of it. You can look at volume 8 and there's plenty of it. There's no secret to it. I just kind of wish that it was contextualized a little differently, so as we see in the Punderstorm, Yang's not so open to taking the plunge, to falling without a parachute and opening up that side of herself to Blake. You know, Yang isn't for that at first, and then after some words of encouragement from Blake, she does it. And so I think that, like, there's something that you could do there where you have this subplot of Yang in volume 7 and 8 not really willing to open up her feeling. And I think that the reason why there wasn't, volume 7 and 8 especially are written in a way that, like, the writers knew when they were writing volumes 7 and 8 that the confirmation would happen in volume 9. Like, that's why it doesn't happen in 7 and 8, is because, like, it's gonna happen in 9. They wrote all 3 of those volumes back to back to back. You know, they were greenlit all at the same time, and the writing went through from there. So I just kind of wish that even when they knew they weren't going to write that confirmation into existence until volume 9, I kind of wish that, like, in 7 and 8, they were laying the groundwork for, like, that scene to where we see Blake maybe wanting Yang to be open about it because they kind of understand that they have a thing going, but they kind of want to dance around maybe just being comfortable being a thing, not really wanting to, like, dive deep into the deep end and, you know, fall without a parachute, so to speak, as this song says. So I can kind of see, like, I just kind of wish that it was more like that, where Blake is kind of egging Yang on over time and Yang doesn't want to open up that side of herself. You know, I kind of wish that there was more of that, because, like, as much as it's clear that they're very into each other on both ends, like, it's mutual, like, it's not unrequited, like, it's very clear that they're both into each other, it also gets to a point where, like, the only reason that a confirmation doesn't happen in X scene in volume 7, or a confirmation doesn't happen in X scene in volume 8, there's no, like, plot reason for it, as much as it's just, like, behind the scenes they know that they're not writing it yet. Like, there's not like a natural way of going about it. Like, I know that, like it doesn't flow naturally in the plot like that. Like, there's so many times where, like, you know, they spend time apart and they come back together, especially, like, in volume 8. Like, I understand, like, there's a war going on, but Ren and Nora got their scene that furthered and, you know, progressed their narrative romantic subplot, and Blake and Yang didn't get one. And I feel like the only reason that they didn't get one wasn't for any plot reasons, it was because, well, the writers knew it was gonna happen in volume 9, I guess. I am just getting out of Worthy. I think I've said everything I've probably had to say about Worthy Bumbleby Part 2 at this point. Overall, fantastically produced song. I don't have any notes for the song itself, but Bumbleby, Blake and Yang's romantic subplot's not really my thing. I don't have anything against it, but I just don't really have anything for it. And I'm gonna move on to Trapdoor. So this is a lyric video that Edelweiss had put together. This is very much a RWBY song. I don't need to not get spoiled about that. I already know it's a RWBY song. Like, it's very clear from what was released in Chapter 7. So let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, now. This is a little funky. Okay. I don't know how to interpret this quite yet. It's also been forever since I've listened to the partial song from Chapter 7, so I'm mostly blind at this. Yeah, so this is from the episode. This is all you need to stay, or something like that. To fight the urge and stay, yeah. Yeah, so this is RWBY at a sort of inflection point. Yep, this is all from the volume. Oh, okay. That's... Dang. That's an unsettling turn right there. Got something in my eye. Damn. Yeah, this is her, like, in that headspace of right before blowing up at her team. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I love the I am a trapdoor bit. The way that that is played out is kinda... breaking from the previous beat is if that's the right way to put it. Watch it all unfold as I cascade below. Dang, I like this bridge. I like it. And this is the fall. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can't bear the weight, buckling under all of the pressure of being a leader and being a silver-eyed warrior. All the choices that she's made have failed in a sense. Salem getting both the relics and the weight that that puts on her, even though she's not on Remnant. Not being on Remnant is itself a consequence and a burden that she has to face. So she's got all of this weight on her until I'm sure we'll get to guide my way in a song or two and see how that turns out. Yeah, so this is a very shorter song, at least as far as the lyrics go. A simpler song, really good, really thematic, especially chapters 7 and 8 for Ruby Rose. Jeez. I sort of like the tempo of it too, of the you don't need me. It kind of feels like she's dodging attacks as she's saying it in a sort of way, if that makes any sense at all, or if I'm just spouting nonsense and gibberish. But the sort of like, it sort of fits the vibe of that fight where Ruby is constantly on the defensive, constantly just trying to evade and dodge all of what Neo is doing via the Jabberwocker illusions that are giving her literal PTSD. It just sort of feels like the singer is running away, feels like the singer is kind of dodging and evading too. So I think that that's very appropriate and really cool. Now let's listen to Quiet. So next we have another lyric video from Sirs and Madams. We have their lyric video for Quiet. Oh god, the clock. Yeah, this is John's song. God. Damn. This is a man at the end of his rope, stuck in his... what do you call that? guilt or grief. Grief is the word. Mm-hmm. Constantly just a man out of time, yeah. Out of time in multiple different ways. That is great wordplay, man out of time. I love that. Constantly late, constantly not in time, but also getting turned back like 10 to 20 years. That is a really good play on words. Yeah, so this played in Volume 9, Chapter 9. I didn't really ever hear the lyrics during the episode, though. I know they were in the end credits, but I never quite heard it in the volume for some reason.
Never knew what patience was till its face stared me down. Couldn't bear to witness my own fate.
Mm-hmm.
My conviction, the weight of it all, the failures of me, and who I couldn't be. Through the hands of time,
Ooh. I love the vibes of this song, like the lo-fi elements to it. Overall, the instrumentation for this one's fantastic. Yeah. Ooh, I love that. I love that. I wonder if any of this is going to, like, evoke Jean at the end of the volume, or just kind of the start of it. Like, are we going to hear that growth, too? Damn. Yeah. I wonder if this is based on John's theme, because John has a theme. I'll pull that up in a second. Yeah, I'm gonna actually go listen to that now. Dang, I like that. Yeah, the instrumentation for that was just so beautiful. I am gonna pull up from Chingy Raptor a compilation of Jean's leitmotif. Yeah. So this is also heard at the end of Volume 9, Chapter 5, when John's reveal. As the Rusted Knight. I don't think it is. It sounds similar, but I kind of feel like the progression of it is similar, but there's just more, like, the beats themselves aren't there. Either way, let's head back to Casey's lyrics. Was I always just a man out of time is probably my favorite lyric of this. So this is what life is, no trouble now, just quiet. I think it's inspired by the leitmotif. It does have the ascending and descending phrases. Yeah, definitely inspired by the leitmotif for sure. Or leitmotif, Jesus Christ. But it's definitely a more simplified version of the leitmotif, which I do think helps it be more ethereal. I think that it's stronger for that. But I could definitely see it as sort of being inspired by the leitmotif for sure. Oh, look what's next. Guide My Way. Alright, I have not listened to this, but I've heard great things. This is a lyric video video from amelot/edelweiss/Sarek Tilner. Get ready? Oh god. So yeah, this one's been hyped up to hell and back for sure. Before I get into it, I just want to say that I was right when Volume 9 was airing. When Volume 9 was airing, and Casey Williams tweeted out, "Hey guys, for the finale, we're gonna be in Existential Lo-Fi City and OG Beast Mode Rock City." Not only did I call that Red Like Roses Part 3 would be OG Beast Mode Rock City, but I also called that it would be in the episode over Ruby fighting after she chose herself. I got everything right, basically, about the conclusion of Ruby's narrative arc. I did say that she would have a different outfit. I don't know what I was on about, but other than that, I got everything right. I was just so in tune with what they were doing with Ruby's character that I wonder how Casey took that material from the show and ran with it and made this part 3, because that's probably the tallest order you can do in RWBY. Like, how do you follow up on Red Like Roses? You know, so iconic, so original, so nostalgic too, at this point. God, I feel like this is gonna be transcendental almost. Guide my way, Red Like Roses Part 3. I've been waiting for this. Let's go. So this is her looking at Summer then. Maybe that's Summer? The air is cold. Guide my way. Hey. Who is she talking to? I need to see how it goes from this. Where does this conversation go? Guide my way. I like this instrumentation here. God, I need to hear the leitmotif. I need it. Here it is, let's go. Oh, God. Dun, 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 dun. Like roses. Okay, this is from the episode now. Okay. Yes. God, I've been singing this. The "Can You Hear Me Up There" part just gets me, dude. All the dust is gone. Other side, need to make me half or whole. God. I love that they added a little bit to it from the episode. Enough. Would it even be enough? What does she mean here? So it's almost a conversation with her. Or yeah, this is with Summer. Summer and herself. You could go either way with it, who she's talking to. Is a conversation like with herself as well as with Summer. Collection of hoop nails. Yes. Oh, I've heard that lyric. I'll admit, I'm what inspired the fairy tale. What is that decision? That was a little weird, I'll say. The soft, like, whisper of it. Alright. Alright! Alright, Martine! Take it easy, my guy! I think that's Martine Gonzalez, right? I don't think Casey did this part. God damn. Alright. I'm gonna take it that there's probably, okay, there are just a bit more lyrics to it. Guide my way out of this place. Of this place. Okay, I love this now. All right, okay, so this one, this song, I was always so confused up until now listening to the bit of the song that's in the episode, Guide My Way. I was like so confused. What does Guide My Way mean? Like why is that the lyric here? And now with this context, very clearly it is guiding my way out of the tree, making the decision, when will I become all of me? Here, let me pull up Casey's lyrics so that I can talk a little bit more coherently. Holy crap. This song almost reads like she's unsure of herself, right? Was it always in the cards for me to be aimless? Which is, in a way, saying that in the moment, she is aimless. At the start, she's in the tree, she's aimless. And by the end of the song, she is, in, like, essence, outside fighting the cat. Right, she starts the song in that headspace of being in the tree, being unsure, being aimless, looking at all these different weapons, not sure who she wants to be. And then by the end of the song, she chooses Crescent Rose, she guides her way out, because guiding my way out is choosing myself, being the hero of my own story in being the one who inspired the fairy tale. I was almost not sure. I always kind of get worried when the soundtrack comes out, like, because you listen to the songs in partial form so many times, the songs as they're released during the episodes, before the full version's out, and when I first listened to Mirror Mirror Part 2, which is the song that plays in Volume 3, Chapter 4, when Weiss chooses to carve out her own way, chooses not to answer her father. Winter had just spent some time with her in that one pavilion before leaving on that airship because she was only supposed to be in Vale for a short period of time. And I remember thinking, I'm gonna love this song, the part of the song that takes place in the episode, I kind of felt like, in a sense, I was hoping that Mirror Mirror Part 2 would be This Life Is Mine. Like, that's the kind of song that I wanted Mirror Mirror Part 2 to be, and then it wasn't. And then This Life Is Mine comes out, and I'm happy, you know? But I was kind of worried that Guide My Way would be more of what we heard. Like, it wouldn't have this sort of variety to it that it ended up having, and that it would kind of stay on that beat the whole time, but it does kind of have a good sense of progression instead, which is pretty awesome. I think overall, I would have liked it to use the original musical theme a bit more, which is, you know, the part that happens in the episode when she grabs Crescent Rose and explodes out of the tree. I kind of would have liked to see more of that, but still, really heckin' good, all the same. This conversation with both her mother and herself at the same time. For me, the story is that she starts by asking her mother to guide her, eventually says, I'll guide my own way, because she's found herself. So, yeah, I think that could definitely be it. I think the start of the song can kind of be like a conversation with either her mother or herself, if you want to look at it that way, but by the end of it, it's definitely like finding my own way. Like, I don't need a guide, I am my guide. I don't have too much else to say. Overall, it's definitely, I mean, RWBY's needed another Red Like Roses for quite some time, you know? And I think you can kind of say that different aspects of some songs have related to RWBY for a while. Like, there was a song in Volume 7, until the end, is very much a, to me, it feels like a RWBY song, even though it's not like Red Like Roses. So I'm glad that she has a song that is like unequivocally hers in Guide My Way for sure. But that is it. I'm gonna get into Wings now. From what I've heard, this is a completely new, it's not a remix, it's a new song. It's not taking what was written 10 years ago, but it is entirely like its own thing. It is entirely like a new arrangement that might have the same lyrics, but it's completely remade. So let's get into that in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah. Yeah, this kind of feels like how the song was always meant to be. It still has that ethereal vibe that, like, Quiet has. And it's not too far away from the original, like, piano of the Volume 1 iteration. I love the... I don't know if I should call it reverb, but, like, the effect on Casey's voice here is great. I should get onto the right song here. Yeah. Yeah, this is great. And I don't, obviously, like, I'm not learning, I already know the lyrics to it, so I can't, like, look those up, but... Yeah, this feels like... This definitely feels like a more fully realized iteration of it. Like, I think that the original Wings from Volume 1, like... It does what it needs to do, and it's amazing, but it's just, like, a piano, you know? And it's got, like, strings to it, too, but it's a very overall simplistic arrangement. So I like that there's more variety and, like, push and pull and different elements coming together with this overall. Lifted up. Yeah. I really like that this is the song that they chose to reiterate or make another iteration for. Not remix, because it's not a remix, but you know, it's its own thing. But I like that they chose to go back to this song for the new version. All right. Yeah. Yeah. And it also kind of shows how much Casey's voice has grown over time. Where, as she's come into her own as a musician, she's in a band. Apparently she has her own solo music coming out somewhat soon too. As compared to just being brought on by Jeff when she was 14 years old, 15 years old. Back in 2013. You know, she's really grown, and I think this is... It's really cool to go back to all the way to Volume 1 to make a new version. It's also a little bit higher tempo. Not high tempo, like super fast, but it does have a higher tempo or a faster pace, faster tempo than Volume 1. I do kind of like that slower tempo a little bit too. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about that.
Broken wings won't hold you down. You'll take flight soon, baby.
You'll be lifted up. You'll be there. Nice, 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 nice. All right. And that's all the new music. As I've said, I've already listened to the score. I really like what they've done with the score. This time around, Martin Gonzalez helmed most of it. Really did a phenomenal job. And these songs are all, I think, the only thing I would say, just to head back, Checkmate. I've got no notes for Checkmate. Checkmate's just fun. It's just plain fun. I like it when there's a sort of fun or unserious, serious song, if that makes any sense. That's exactly what Checkmate is. I think that, like, Volume 8, The Sky is Falling, has that same sort of vibe. Like, it's all doom and gloom, right? The song is describing entirely catastrophic and cataclysmic stuff, but at the same time, the fun, upbeat nature of it kind of has that push and pull where it's like not entirely a doom and gloom song. It's actually like, it's fun to listen to while being about something so entirely serious, which is what Checkmate is. Chatterbox was always kind of an outlier for me. I'm not too big of a fan of it. As I, had kind of said, like, it definitely has that ambiguous nature of it too as well, of like, who exactly is the perspective, who is the speaker, who are they talking to? Because it could kind of go in multiple different ways. Worthy, phenomenal song. Again, I'm not somebody who's like so intensely into Blake and Yang's narrative subplot, but ultimately the arrangement of the song, the way that Ariel and Casey come together for it is phenomenal. Trapdoor being this point of RWBY in chapter 7 and 8, really great job there for that. And then heading over to Quiet. I heard somebody say before that it was Jean's first song that was entirely about Jean and not about somebody else, right? It references at the beginning of it, it references his moment of having to kill Penny, haunted by that forever, always in that same constant headspace for that. Guide My Way. I am going to listen to that again a couple times today, most likely, to get a better sense of it. I love the progression of it, where it starts off by her asking for help, asking for a guide, and then being that guide herself. It is a really good way of kind of weaving RWBY's arc into the music, into the lyrics. I love it when songs do that. The song that comes to mind especially for that is This Life Is Mine. This Life Is Mine starts off slow, piano, orchestral, or, that, not orchestral, but like she's performing at the charity gala, and then it just goes to rock, and then it turns it up to 11 beyond that even later in the song. And I didn't listen to it in this video. Obviously, you can check out my reaction to it in the separate video, which is linked below, but The Edge has lived in my head since the finale. It is a perfect song to cap off the volume on. It has that same sort of vibe as like Quiet in a sense too, where it is, should I sit, should I stand, should I kneel, what should I feel, should I fall apart, maybe that's all I want. Rising like a wave, it's clear that I'm everything and nothing all at once. I'll meet you at the horizon where we first met, where I died, I'll be born again. These freaking lyrics are amazing. I love them so much, and I felt like I had to say that again at some point in this, even though I'm not reacting to the song. I should at least give an honorable mention to it, because holy crap, I love it. I love this song. I don't know how else to phrase it, but like, I just vibe so hard with it. I just really, really resonate with RWBY's narrative arc in Volume 9, and John's as well. I've had my own forms of grief in the past couple years, for sure, that have taken me a while to kind of get through, and seeing John go through that in Volume 9, and ultimately where he ends up with the closure of his arc, was really phenomenal to me. And I think that John being RWBY's narrative foil, like, this song could, in theory, be applied just as much to him as her, but we see it a lot more metaphysically with RWBY. Just to get back to the volume as a whole and my thoughts on it for the volume, and not as individual songs, which is kind of how I've been approaching it so far. As I said at the start of the video, it's just been incredible to have Casey Lee Williams and Martin Gonzalez helming the score this time around, because I love what Jeff Williams has done for the show. He's made so many great songs. Like, I still listen to a lot of the old soundtracks. I was listening to some earlier today as I was going through some chores. You know, I have so much love and respect for what he's done, but I totally understand his decision to retire. But Casey Lee Williams and Martin Gonzalez have really gone above and beyond, really made the RWBY soundtrack their own, breathed a hell of a lot of new life into it, and this was phenomenal. Not every song is entirely my jam, like I said, with like Chatterbox and Worthy I'm not as much for. Quiet definitely has its own place. I do think I'm gonna end it fully here. That's about all I have to say about Volume 9's original soundtrack and my reaction to it. I didn't record a reaction to the score, but I've very much been dissecting all of the different musical themes that are in that. But ultimately, that's about all you're gonna see from me on this channel for quite some time. I've gotten a new opportunity to be somebody else's dedicated editor for YouTube for their own channel, and it's just ultimately the thing that I've always been working towards, and so that doesn't quite give me the time for this one. So I will continue to make news videos about any RWBY news, like such as when Volume 10 might get greenlit. You will know about it as soon as I can make a video about that. Any sort of RWBY news videos like that, I will still make videos on. That is about all I have to say. Thank you for sticking around with me here. For everybody who's been with me on Twitch as I've live streamed it, thank you for sticking around with me on that front. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. I'm Robin Rising. Have a good one.